So you've got your first bow and you are standing maybe in your backyard or on the shooting range, and all of a sudden you feel very lost, very alone. You don't know your stance. Is your grip right? Is my anchor correct? Do you even know what those words are? Maybe not. You look around and everyone around you seems like a seasoned pro. They all have big beards, tough, they're drawing 70 pounds on their bow, and you might even be dreading that sharp, stinging slap on your arm. If that sounds familiar, just take a deep breath. That feeling is completely natural, and believe it or not, every single archer has had that "what the heck am I doing" feeling. Luckily, that feeling is not just a barrier, it's actually just the first step in your archery journey. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to help you go from uncertain to confident. We're going to build your shot from the ground up and get you feeling confident on the course. You deserve to feel confident, capable, and strong every single time you pick up your bow and every time you shoot it. Feeling not judged and like you know what you're doing. The first thing we are gonna fix is that feeling of not being stable on your feet. You're standing on the line, you're holding your bow. One time you shoot, it's perfect. The next time you shoot, maybe you're just a little off balanced. You shoot and it's way off and you're like, what was the difference? It can be incredibly frustrating, but the first thing is checking your feet and your stance. And surprisingly, this is one of the most overlooked things in archery. If we do not start with your stance and your feet, your whole shot process really doesn't matter. So here's how you have a rock solid stance. When you step up to the shooting lane, I'm gonna pretend you're my target. We want our feet to be a shoulder width apart, stacked on top of our knees, which is then on top of our hips. We don't wanna be poking out or poking in. And we want our feet to be facing this way. Now you can get really in the weeds about this, but for the most part, you just don't want your hips to be kicking forward and kicking backwards too much. A little bit here and there can help with certain angles of how our bow is held, but for now, whoa, I hit my funny bone. Just a second. Oh, okay, I'm back. For now, I just want you to think about your feet being a good shoulder width apart. Your back foot can be a teeny bit forward or a teeny bit behind your top foot, but for the most part, keeping them in line is a good place to start. Once your feet are set, we talked about stacking everything up. We really just want you to stand up straight, tall, kind of almost like military position. You wanna be owning your space. It's really all about creating a strong platform and connection with your ground so that you can be really strong here up top. Your stance is really going to be your anchor. If you can walk up to the line every single time, plant your feet exactly where they need to go, you will have confidence and you're gonna be solving like 25 different problems before even hitting the line just by being set. Number 2, your bow should feel like an extension of you. So let's talk about the bow itself. One of the biggest things that people struggle with from the very beginning is the bow feels really clunky. It's really hard to pull back. It just feels awkward in their hand. Maybe you keep hitting your arm with your string. All of these physical things that just make the bow feel like it does not belong in your hand. When this happens, it leads to feeling tired, feeling sore, feeling confused, a lack of confidence, and leaving you feeling like you're just not strong enough for the sport. That could not be further from the truth. And if you've ever felt any of those things, throw them out the window now. It is not true. If you have ever felt that way, if any of those things have ever felt awkward, it is on your bow. Your bow is not set up correctly. You need to find gear that fits your body. Most of the time, women have smaller frames. We're typically not as strong as men, and so your gear needs to reflect that. Luckily, a lot of bows out there nowadays are designed specifically for women. They tend to be lighter, the riser is not as long, their poundage can be adjusted and turned down very, very low, and your draw length can be set shorter. But the number one most important factor here is your draw weight. Now your draw weight is just how much force it takes to pull your string back to your face. If you have to start up super duper high and pull back, that's a bad sign. If you have to start down low and you're doing weird stuff with your body, if you have to push your hips forward and bring them way back really fast, these are all signs that your your poundage is too heavy. If that resonates with you and you kind of think, that might be me, get with your bow tech and turn your poundage down. If you are just starting out, starting at 20 or 25, maybe 30 is a pretty good place to start. Your goal should always be to draw your bow back smoothly, thinking straight back instead of up high and down. That is a great place to start. Number 3 is techniques made for your body. Here is a really common issue. When you start shooting, you're looking around you and you see what other people are doing. Where are their feet? Where are they putting the string? Is it on their nose? Is it on the corner of their mouth? Is it lower? And you try and copy these things, but there is not a one-size-fits-all option. Trying to copy someone else's stance and someone else's form can cause you pain and kill your confidence. Not only that, it can make you feel like your body is the problem, which is never the case. You just need to figure out what works for you, and what works for other people may not necessarily work for you. You do not have to force technique that doesn't work for you. If you feel really unsure, you can go ahead and get together with a private coach or maybe your local archery shop. Or if you don't have access to any of those things, I offer archery courses and one-on-one lessons with me if you ever just need a helpful hand. A really great example of something you may see other people doing that might not work for you is where the string touches their face. In most cases, you want the tip of the string to touch your nose and maybe the corner of your mouth. For a lot of people, they can do both, but depending on the size of your nose and the size of your lips and even just the size of your face, this may not be the correct anchor point for you. Now, what about the dreaded string slap on your arm? I can guarantee you everyone has had this happen, but you do not have to deal with this. There are 3 ways to fix it. Number 1 is with your grip. You should be making sure that you're gripping your bow somewhat like this, so the bow would be like in here, straight up. Lots of people think that you hold on to the bow like this. Let me get my bow here so I can show you. So for instance, lots of people think you should hold the bow with a fist. In reality, your bow should be kind of more like this. Your fingers should be more on like a 45. I think they call this the lifeline on your hand right here. Typically they say your bow should be more around here on the lifeline. You can see if I have my arm like, I'm wearing black, which isn't the best color. If I have my arm straight like this where I would be gripping the bow, that pushes my elbow in towards me. Now, if you were to rotate it so that your fist is up, you can do this yourself. Rotate it so your fist is up, you will see that it kicks your elbow more out towards you, right? So we have this where it's in towards you, this where it's a little more out. It's going to help you have better clearance from your string. After grip is something super easy. It's just making sure that your draw length isn't too long. If it's too long, you're gonna make up for that by pushing your arm towards you. Also, it's like a hyperextension. Lots of women will do that. So it'll force a hyperextension into your arm and you will definitely slap your arm. But what you should check before that even is making sure that you are not hyperextending your arm. You probably are. A way to check that is to go up against a wall, put your hand up against the wall, support your weight, and then bend your arm. You can see how when your arm is bent, you are still supporting your body. When it is straight, you are locked in. We don't want to have that locked in feeling. We want a slight bend. You might have to purposely think about bending your elbow. As women, our joints tend to be a little bit more flexible. So that is something that we will struggle with more typically than men. Now, if these tips are already starting to make things click for you, do me a favor, subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. This channel is all about building each other up in archery, and I would love for you to be a part of our community. Number 4, do not overlook this. It is the power of starting close. When you get to the range, whether it's an indoor or outdoor range, you're gonna see people slinging arrows to maybe 30 yards, 40 yards, maybe even 50 yards, and they are hitting the center. I do not want you to feel like that needs to be you. You can start at 20 yards, and if you're shooting indoors, you can even start closer. A lot of archery shops have bails, which are these targets on wheels that you can wheel around the shop so that you can shoot as close as like 5 yards. There is no shame in that. In fact, you will be a better archer for doing stuff like that. When you are first starting out, every missed shot feels like a major setback. It's a setback to your confidence, it's a setback to your shot process, and it makes it even easier to look at other archers and say, I am way behind, or even just feel like they're kind of judging you. This is a trap that kills your motivation faster than anything else. So here's the fix. Give yourself permission to ignore everyone else, to not compare and to not worry about anyone else but yourself, and start closer. A tight group at 10 yards or even 5 yards is a better sign of a good archer than a lucky shot at 30 yards. This is how you build muscle memory, and it's also how you train your mind to do the exact same thing every single time. And for the record, if you can do that, you can hit the bullseye every single time. When you are shooting at a close distance, I want you to make sure that you are focusing on your stance and your form. You're not gonna miss the target, and it's good to go between this idea of aiming or just simply shooting your bow to practice your form, making sure everything is where it needs to be. In fact, I would even recommend shooting without a target at one of those bails that we talked about at an indoor archery shop. This is called blank bailing, and it is one of my favorite ways to train my mind and my body to do the same thing every single time, which will improve your accuracy and your confidence. In archery, you earn your distance. So once you can shoot really great groups at 10 yards, then you can move back to 20. Once you have a great group at 20, move back to 30. Each step back feels like a reward for your consistency and that you're constantly building up your form and your technique. If you struggle with your confidence, this is a huge confidence builder. I promise that if you start at 10 yards and you feel like you earned that 10 yards, you will feel so much more confident once you end up getting to 60 yards or even 70 yards. Now, number 5, this one is so tricky. It's to find your community. Maybe the biggest hurdle that most women run into with archery, or really anyone, is you go to shoot your bow and you end up looking around and you feel like everyone knows each other, everyone's staring at you, and you just feel alone. Feelings of judgment, feelings of everybody watching you, all of these things are confidence killers, and I hate to say it, but that is one of the biggest reasons people will quit. This feeling of isolation can quickly turn practice from a fun, enjoyable hobby to feeling like a performance. And once it starts feeling like a performance, that's when it gets stressful and people decide that it's just not a hobby worth pursuing anymore. But first of all, guess what? Everyone there is learning too. Even if you're shooting next to a pro archer, they get it. In fact, if you start to listen, I guarantee you will hear people at full draw release their shot and be like, oh, fuck, like, it just happens. And I guarantee you, everyone here is just learning together. Get rid of that imposter syndrome. If you do have a bad egg who maybe says some things to you, just throw it out the window and remember that they're learning too. If you ever feel alone, or just have something that is just really bothering you, connecting with other women who are in the same place as you, learning the same things can be incredibly motivating. Finding them can be a little tricky, but if you just talk to your local archery shop, look around on Facebook groups, you can join our exclusive community and you will find other people who are in the same spot just like you. So let's do a quick wrap up. I want you to check your stance, make sure it is solid. I want you to check your gear, make sure you aren't fighting it. I want you to make sure that you throw comparison out the window and are adapting techniques to fit your body. 4th, I want you to start really close to the target. And 5th, I want you to try and find a community or at least a friend who you can shoot with. Now, what is one of the biggest things you are struggling with as an archer? Go ahead and drop that down in the comments below. Let's share our experiences and help each other out. And if you're ready for the next step, be sure to check out my archery course down below. Everything you need to know is in that course. Now get out there, trust your foundation, and go shoot your bow.